comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
Ooh, what's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Podcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we got a decent selection of Funko Pop announcements. Not too much because it is only 1 week's worth of announcements, but we do got a jam-packed podcast as we got some decent pop announcements. We're kicking off with another What's the Haps for a third week in a row. And of course, as shown in the title of the podcast, it is the top 10 Funko Pops of October 2022, which we know we aren't officially over and done with October as of the recording and release of this podcast, which we will explain later what's going to happen after that, especially if you are brand new to the podcast, which I should also mention, if you're here just for the top 10 list, we do have a timestamp in the description below, as always, to pick and choose what parts of the pod you want to listen to, but we suggest you definitely check out the entire podcast. But without further ado, we will kick off with the segment of What's the Haps, which What's the Haps, for those brand new to the podcast, is the segment where we talk about what we've been watching, what we've been playing as terms to video games, movies, TV series, or anything that life has been brought to us the last week or so. And like usual, we will kick off with MD Shady. What's the Haps?
All right. So what is the Haps with MD Shady? Not a ton, really. I have only listed a couple things down because I feel like I've been just working mostly and doing videos. So I have watched a couple of different movies, and a couple of those movies are in preparation for our next fandom related podcast. So I just watched WALL-E, or rewatched it because I've seen it when it first came out. And great movie, amazing movie. I really enjoyed watching it again now that I'm a bit older than obviously when it came out in 2008 or whenever it was. And then I also just watched Up, rewatched that as well because I haven't seen that as well since it came out. And that's a really good movie as well. Besides that, for watching stuff, I've mostly been just doing the YouTube thing, but Bear in the Big Blue House actually just came onto Disney Plus, so I checked out a couple episodes of that for those nostalgic feels, and pretty cool. Don't know why Funko hasn't made Funko Pops of so many different characters that could be done for Bear in the Big Blue House. Maybe we'll see them in the future. And then I've been watching hockey, keeping up with a lot of different games because I am in the fantasy league like I had talked about on the last What's the Haps. So yeah, I mean, NHL, it's really cool to follow a bunch of different teams rather than just sticking to like the one or two teams that I normally watch. But besides that, I really haven't done too much. I haven't been really playing games besides maybe playing pool. But yeah, I'm just waiting for that new Xbox once I get it. And then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of games to talk about on What's the Haps because there's so many that I look forward to playing. So DK, what's the Haps with you?
All right, what's the Haps with me? There's not really too much, especially because it's been now the third week in a row, at least as I've been recording the podcast of doing What's the Haps. Of course, MD Shady was not on last week's edition of a Funko Popcast for reasons that we kind of explained already on that podcast, which I guess that's a good time to say thank you to Robbie D for filling in for MD Shady on last week on the podcast with such short notice. But what's the Haps with me? A little bit of Fortnite. I don't think as much as I played while mentioning about Fortnite last week on the podcast. So this past week, I haven't really been playing much Fortnite. And that's mainly because of doing some videos again, and especially huge news for those that might not know, but would have definitely heard in this past Monday's video and probably Wednesday's video, which is today as we are recording this, that we have finally opened and recorded the big soda opening that we've been teasing for so long. And it was announced on Wednesday's video that even though we did tease on Monday that it was going to be released this week, due to the editing phase of the video, that it's going to take a little bit longer. So hopefully it'll be out by next week, but wouldn't be surprised if it came out the week after because there is a lot of editing going on. I have been working on it a little bit, but at the same time, we still have the 5 days of content to kind of get through. So it's those videos and then kind of the soda video a little bit on the back burner somewhat. Yeah, that video took approximately, I believe, 14 hours to record from the moment we were trying to figure out categories at 6 p.m. all the way until myself finishing the 360 rotating spins at MD's at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was a little bit of a long night for myself and not a lot of sleep. But yeah, it was obviously a fun video to do. And then it took so long also because we only have one camera battery for the camera. So I had to wait an hour and a half each time that the battery was not fully charged. So while waiting for that, that leads to my next What's the Haps is that catching up on some Top Pops videos. It's been a while since I've been watching his videos due to obviously us being concentrated on our channel and trying to film content for our channel. So while on break of waiting for the camera battery to charge up, I was watching some of Tristan's New York Comic Con content, and I caught up on some of them last night. And then, like MD mentioned, more Pixar movies I've been going through to essentially finish off for our upcoming fandom related podcast on Pixar. Watched Turning Red and I watched Lightyear to rewatch all 26 feature films of Pixar. So glad I'm doing that. All right, so now we are going to talk about the recent Funko Pop announcements, which range from October 19th all the way until October 25th. So kicking off on October 19th, Funko had confirmed on their website of a Walgreens exclusive Hercules for the Marvel lineup, which this is available now on the Funko website. Not exactly sure if it is released at Walgreens store, both online and in stores. Then on October 20th, the last pop involved in the Sinister Six Pop Deluxe set for Spider-Man, which is, of course, Spider-Man exclusive to Amazon. And this is expected to release as early as November 2022. Funko had announced a Stan Lee Pop comic covers, which is going to be a common, and this is expected to release as early as January 2023. Announced by Funko yet again is a Skeleton Jack and Monster Taco 2-pack for the Jack in a Box lineup for the ad icons, exclusive to the Funko shop. And this actually released today as we are recording this podcast on the Funko shop website. Chalice Collectibles had announced their own exclusive pop of Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia, which has a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase, and this is expected to release as early as February 2023. Lastly, on that day, Toys R Us Canada had announced their own exclusive pop of a Gryffindor Jeffrey for the Toys R Us Harry Potter mashup, in which unknown of when that is releasing, but it should be releasing very soon. Then on October 21st, Funko had announced the first pop involved in the Funko Fridays that are exclusive to Target, which is of Batman from the Justice League, in which unknown of when that pop will be releasing. Funko had announced a new set of McDonald's Funko Pops, which we have ourselves Meal Squad Pops of a cup, French fries, and hamburger, with a Funko Shop exclusive pop of Speedy, which these are expected to release as early as February 2023. Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of a glow-in-the-dark Mysterio for the Marvel lineup, in which that's expected to release as early as January 2023. Funko continued announcements with a new set of Cuphead Pops, which we have ourselves pops of Chef Salt Baker with a 1-in-6 chase of him with a roller, an Aeroplane Ms. Chalice, and a Devil on Throne Pop Deluxe, in which these are expected to release as early as January 2023. Then on October 24th, Funko had announced a pop game covers of Altair from Assassin's Creed, in which that's expected to release as early as February 2023. Then, last but not least, October 25th, GameStop had announced their own exclusive pop of a Hush Batman for the DC Comics lineup, in which that's expected to release as early as February 2023. And last but not least, announced by Funko themselves, a Hot Topic exclusive Ursula Pop Deluxe, the final pop to be announced for the Disney Villains Assemble set, in which unknown of when that's exactly released, but it should be released by the end of the year. All right, so kicking off with the Hercules pop for the Marvel lineup. I actually didn't even really know that there was a Hercules for the Marvel lineup, so that's pretty interesting, in which the detail is pretty decent. I like the whole ensemble of the outfit, the weapon he's got in his hand. Actually, it looks like 2 weapons. Oh, no, it just looks like he does, because there's a sword behind him, and then his fist is clenched to where it looks like he's holding some sort of like dagger, but it's just right in front of the edge of the blade there. And it's not too bad. And then we have the final pop involved in the Beyond Amazing Sinister Six Pop Deluxe set. And of course, we all knew it was going to be Spider-Man. Some people were actually asking where the Green Goblin was because there were people that were assuming it's going to be the Sinister Six that was featured in Spider-Man No Way Home, but it is more of the comic book accurate OG Sinister Six, where you got obviously Kraven the Hunter, Doc Ock, Mysterio, Vulture, Sandman, and Electro. And I mean, looking at this set overall, it does look pretty decent with the pieces involved. It looks like all of the members of the Sinister Six are ready to attack Spider-Man. The Spider-Man isn't too bad. I mean, this could be pulled off if you wanted to buy it as a singular pop because of the base, or you can get it also as a part of the deluxe set if you were to try to get that complete set, which is going to be a little bit of money because I think it's 30 US, and then you got to buy 7 of them in total. So it's going to be a little bit of a pretty penny in order to complete that specific set. But overall, it looks very nice. I think it's definitely one of the better deluxe sets we have gotten thus far. Then we got the Stan Lee pop comic covers, and this looks pretty sweet. I'm really excited that they actually did this, especially because, I mean, Stan Lee, he's such an icon, but there's also some bad hype because people are not liking the fact that, like, Jack Kirby, who was the illustrator for Stan Lee's comics, does not have his own comic covers, and people are saying, oh, Stan Lee's a crook, blah, blah, blah. He stole all of Kirby's ideas. I read all the comments, and I mean, I think they both deserve some credit. I mean, it would be cool if maybe they did, like, a deluxe covers, I guess I would call it. I can't call it a deluxe albums, where maybe it would feature Stan Lee plus a couple of the illustrators that deserve to be mentioned. But overall, seeing Stan Lee having a spotlight like this, and even the pop overall, looks really cool for Stan Lee with that pose. Then we have the Skeleton Jack and Monster Taco 2-pack for Jack in the Box. It's got a Halloween theme. And I was actually not prepared for this to be released today as we were recording this, because I was ready to say, like, if there was any day that this was going to be released, it's Monday, because Monday is Halloween. And I thought that's when it was going to be released. But being released now is pretty decent. I mean, both these pops look cool. You got the skeleton form of Jack in the Box there, but I think what makes up for it, at least in my opinion, is the new mold of the Monster Taco. Just because, I mean, if you're going to get a Jack in the Box pop and you're only going to get one, I don't think this is going to be the one. Then we have the new Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia, and there's some good hype and bad hype. There's good hype because people are loving the idea of the chase and how you get that blue color and especially the glowing eye. And then there's people that are complaining because this is Todoroki from season 1, where he's trying to show off his more ice side because he's not a fan of his father. So he's trying not to use his fire side so often. But I kind of like that throwback of, like, going back maybe a few seasons, especially the first season, to where I feel like this is a pop that should have been made back when My Hero Academia pops were first made. And I'm not mad because Todoroki is one of my favorite characters in My Hero Academia. So, I mean, the more Todoroki pops, the better, I guess, for me. Then we got Gryffindor Jeffrey. We kind of figured this was going to happen. We actually pretty much discussed about this last week when we talked about the Hufflepuff Jeffrey. I mean, not much different than the other ones besides just a different color change in terms of the scarf to match the colors of Gryffindor being yellow and red. But overall, not too bad. Then we have the Batman pop involved for Justice League as a part of Funko Fridays, which I kind of can't wait to see how Funko Fridays goes for this week, which, I mean, you guys will probably know about it already since this podcast will be released most likely the day that the next Funko Fridays is happening. This looks really cool. I like the way that they made this to where it's almost like what they do with the Star Wars retro pops and how it kind of looks like a sketching a little bit. And you have 2 different shadings instead of just the one color shading involved with the outfit. And I think it's pretty decent. I like the way he's holding the cape. And I think this is going to be a pretty decent seller, in my opinion. Then we have ourselves some McDonald's pops. This is not too bad, and I'm a little surprised about the hamburger, fries, and cup for the fact that when I kind of heard about this, I thought this was going to be like the foodies lineup, but they're actually characters made from back in the day, so it is considered in the Ad Icons lineup. And I mean, these are all right. I feel like the 3 pops probably would thrive better if they made a 3-pack involving them, which most likely would be a McDonald's shop exclusive, in my opinion, because I feel like not a lot of people would want a cup. Maybe you might want the fries, but I think the best seller would be the hamburger out of all the 3 that are there. And then a lot of people were kind of thrown off as terms to being surprised about Speedy, because I believe I read up that Speedy was the mascot for, or not like the mascot like past Ronald McDonald, but was a mascot for McDonald's to kind of show about McDonald's being fast food. And then I guess it was too similar to another company's mascot that I think also was named Speedy, so they stopped using them. So it's a little bit surprising that Funko actually made a character with that kind of background story there. And a lot of people in the comments are really wanting a Mac Tonight pop after seeing the release of Speedy. Then we got ourselves Mysterio, the glow in the dark pop from Entertainment Earth, or at least exclusive to Entertainment Earth. And this is okay. I mean, if you're not planning on getting that Sinister Six Pop Deluxe set that we talked about just a bit ago, then I think just getting the singular pop is okay instead of getting the singular pop, I guess, that is a part of that set, just because you get that cool base involved and you don't need the ground base. It's almost pretty much the same pop, except you don't have the bricks underneath it and it glows in the dark. I kind of would have liked to see the green outfit glow in the dark also instead of just the smoke. Then we have the new Cuphead pops. And I mean, I guess there's a mixed hype because people are really enjoying the fact that there's new Cuphead pops, but there's people are like, wow, Cuphead, really? Who cares about this game now? Nice detail involving both the common and the chase for Mr. Saltbaker or Chef Saltbaker. I forgot the name already. And then the two pops, including the Devil on Throne, is pretty sweet. I always like when Funko does the pops on thrones because they make them pretty decently. Then we got ourselves the Assassin's Creed pop game covers, and I think that this was pretty decent. I mean, there is mixed hype because of the character involved. I think a lot of people want Ezio, I think his name was, instead of Altair for the comic covers, but I think this is a bit underrated, especially the pop itself. And the one thing that really stands out, in my opinion, is the detail of the shadow on the face of where the hood is covering part of the face. You can actually see the shadow, just like as you see in the cover. And I think you don't see that often or really at all, where they put that little bit of an attention to detail as terms to something like that. So I think that they did a pretty decent job with this. And I'm surprised this is a common and not, let's say, a GameStop exclusive. Then we got ourselves Hush Batman for the DC Comics lineup, and this is not too bad. I mean, it looks like a half and half pop, kind of like the Impopster pops we got so many years ago. It's okay. I mean, I think we've seen better pops than this, but it's all right for right now. And last but not least is the final pop in the Disney Villains Assemble Pop Deluxe set, and it's of Ursula, the seventh and final announcement. This is not too bad. I like the whole base involved with it.
All right, starting off, we have the Walgreens exclusive Hercules, and this is a pretty cool looking pop. There's definitely some decent detail there, especially with the chest hair and just the way that the pop looks overall. I think this is pretty cool. And then we finally have the final piece of the Sinister Six Beyond Amazing set with Spider-Man. And yeah, this set looks awesome. I can't wait to finally start collecting all of these now that all 7 pieces are out. I definitely want to own this and have it displayed out of box like you see in this glam shot, because yeah, that's just a great looking set from an IP that I love, such as Spider-Man. Next up, we have the Stan Lee comic book cover, and this is pretty cool. I like the cover that they went with, how Stan Lee, the pop, is matching what he looks like on that cover. I think it's great. The pose is really cool. That's definitely a pose that he always would do. So that's really sweet. This looks cool. And it's interesting that it is the pop comic covers #1, which I don't really understand because I thought Spider-Man or Superman was #1, but maybe this is just for Marvel. I don't know exactly how that works. Then we have the Jack Box 2-packs of the skeleton Jack in the Box, as well as the Monster Taco. This is sweet. I love the Jack in the Box pop, so this is definitely something I will be picking up eventually. Unfortunately, because we are Canadian, I can't just order it from the Funko shop, or I would do that. So I'm definitely going to have to find it through other places, such as like if Pop Culture or something like that were to get one, or just wait till I see it at a con or a toy show or something like that, because this is definitely a sweet 2-pack. I really enjoy the Monster Taco. I think that the molding on that looks great, and it still looks like a Funko Pop, which I think is really cool. So yeah, awesome 2-pack. Then we have the Chalice Collectibles My Hero Academia. Oh god, I can't remember his name.
It's Shoto Todoroki.
Todoroki. Okay, yeah. So this pop is awesome. I think that it makes sense for them to go back and do some season 1 pops because why wouldn't they do that? They do that with other shows. They do it with other movies where they go back to previous movies and give us older stuff. And I think this is a great looking pop. I love how you have that glow chase where it glows blue with the red eye. I think that that's really cool. But the common doesn't look bad itself. I enjoy how that looks as well. So this is a really cool pop. Next up, we have the Gryffindor Jeffrey for Toys R Us. And yeah, we expected this. I'm starting to not really know how I feel about these. I definitely do like them, but I just feel like they're not selling very well because we definitely see a lot of them at our local Toys R Us and they go on sale for pretty cheap. So I feel like they're not doing as good as expected sales wise, but who knows? I hope that the next set of Toys R Us Jeffrey the Giraffes has a different IP that I'm definitely going to want to get the whole group of them, kind of like the Marvel and DC characters that we've seen for Jeffrey the Giraffe. Then we have the Target exclusive Batman for Funko Friday, and this is a pretty cool pop. I like how this looks. I like the way that they have the comic book style type shading on this pop. I think that that works very, very well. But I just feel like we've seen this before. It doesn't seem like anything new. We've got so many Batmans, and I definitely think we've gotten Batmans that have this kind of style of shading, but it's still a cool pop nonetheless. Then we have the newest set of McDonald's pops, and these are pretty sweet. There's definitely some mixed hype over them because people are like, give us Mac tonight, like DK was explaining. But then some people do like them. I like this. You have the Meal Squad characters, which is really cool. And then Speedy, which is crazy that I never would have thought of this character when thinking of ad icons or McDonald's mascots for that matter. But I'm really excited that Funko is making this pop, and it makes sense to be a Funko Shop exclusive. It's definitely the best pop, probably the most sought after pop out of these four. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking up this whole set to add to my McDonald's collection. This is great. Next up, we have the Entertainment Earth exclusive glow in the dark Mysterio, and this is pretty sweet. I like this a lot. Maybe one of the better Mysterios, but we've definitely got some really cool ones. So that's tough, but I know that the glow on this is going to look awesome. On the glam shot, it does show that it glows like a blue color, though it is the green smoke. So that's interesting to see if it's going to try to glow blue or if it's just going to be the green glow like we normally see. Hopefully it is because it should glow very, very well. Then we have some new Cuphead pops, and I really like this announcement. I think these are 3/4, if you include the chase pops, that look really good. And Cuphead, I guess, is still relevant. They just made that Netflix show, which I think is great. I've really been enjoying that show a lot. So these are some pops that I definitely consider buying, especially the Chef Salt Baker. I think that that's pretty cool with the chase version. So if I find a chase version at retail, I'd be super stoked and I would definitely buy that. Then we have the Assassin's Creed game covers with Altair, and this is awesome. I'm super pumped about this. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise, and this is sweet. I mean, I've played Assassin's Creed 1 multiple times, so it's really cool to see this. This is definitely something I will be picking up. Like DK said, with the shading, that looks awesome. Altair looks sweet. This definitely needed to come out when you see covers like Halo and stuff like that. Assassin's Creed is one of those big franchises that has multiple games, so this makes a lot of sense, and I really enjoy this. Then we have the GameStop exclusive Batman, and this is pretty sweet. This is a lot better than the previous Batman that I had just talked about because there's a little bit more going on with this and it doesn't seem like something that we've always and already seen. So yeah, this is cool. I like how he's split right down the middle like that. Definitely a cool Batman pop. And then lastly, we have the final piece for the Disney Villains Deluxe set. And this is pretty cool. I like the Ursula. I like how she has the electric eels with her, and I don't mind the base at all. I think the base looks really cool as well. And now this set is finally over, and I got some mixed hype between it. I mean, I've talked about it before on the podcast where I like a lot of these pops separately, but together as a set, it just doesn't look the greatest to me.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, guys. So now we are going to be moving on to the top 10 Funko Pops of October 2022. And I mean, this month was all right. I mean, it wasn't too exciting. Nonetheless, we still got the top 10. And then obviously next week, we will have our segment, The Update, to finish off the rest of the announcements from the 25th, I believe, or 26th to the 31st. Finish off October with the update for the top 10 list. But without further ado, we might as well kick off this top 10 list right now with MD Shady and his number 10 pick.
All right, coming in at number 10, I have the White Glow Skeleton Geico Gecko. I think that this pop is pretty cool. I like the white one because it more resembles a skeleton, and of course it is glow in the dark, and white glows all right, so it's pretty cool. I haven't got my hands on this pop, but I think in the future I probably will end up getting it at some point, so I knew it had to make number 10.
Coming in at number 10 on my list is the common She-Hulk from obviously She-Hulk. I really like the design of the She-Hulk. It's exactly what we had, I guess, been teased with the Funko Soda that was released for FunCon a couple of months ago. And now we have it in pop form, which is much better because you actually get some sort of posing instead of the arms to the side like you see with the Funko Soda.
Coming in at number 9, I have the VHS/movie covers of Killer Clowns from Outer Space with the Rudy pop. I think this is really cool. The cover is pretty iconic, and then you have the first pop of Rudy, which I think is deserving considering he is the cover clown. We have, I believe, all of the clowns now from the movie, if I'm not mistaken. So that's awesome. And the cover itself, pretty dang cool. So I knew it had to make the list.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the NFT pop, limited to 1,500 pieces of the Space Zombie Freddy Funko. The detail on this thing is absolutely insane. And although there isn't so much hype as terms to the NFT pops because of how you're able to obtain them, I do like this pop on a personal level much more than the She-Hulk, which is why it made it a little bit higher.
Moving on to number 8, I have the previews exclusive glow-in-the-dark Nightcrawler. This is a pretty dang sweet pop. We had just talked about a different Nightcrawler, but I think that this one's a little bit better. You have the base, and then it has those comic words on the base, which is a very interesting idea for Funko to do, and I honestly think it worked out very well, and that's why he made the number 8 slot.
Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Assassin's Creed pop game covers of Altair. This is not too bad. Like I mentioned, I mean, I like the detail involving with the shading going on with the hood, but it's the bad hype involved with the Funko fanatics in the comment section below about wanting an Ezio pop of why this pop is kind of lower on the list.
Now, coming in at number 7 on my list, I have the comic covers of Boba Fett. This is pretty sweet. The pop itself matches the cover very well. It's an awesome looking cover, and you can't go wrong with these Star Wars comic book covers with the box design that they have going on for them. They just look sweet.
Coming in at number 7 on my list, it is the Funko Shop exclusive limited to 1,000 pieces Flocked and Diamond Collection Huckleberry Hound with book. I really enjoy the way that this pop looks, especially being 2 specifications in one.
Coming in at number 6, I have the Funko Shop exclusive Jack in the Box 2-pack with the Skeleton Jack and the Monster Taco. This is a sweet 2-pack. I've really been enjoying the first 2 Jack in the Box pops that we've seen, and I think that this one's pretty great as well. Though it is kind of weird, it is coming out for Halloween, which I think is pretty sweet. And that monster taco looks cool. Love the mold on that, and still looks like a Funko Pop, which is a great thing. And that's why it's making the list.
Coming in at number 6 on my list is the Chalice Collectibles exclusive Shoto Todoroki, and it's just be common. I mean, glow in the dark, it is cool, but especially when the majority of the glow being blue, I don't know how well it's going to turn out. I think the red's going to be okay, but I don't know how blue is going to turn out. It's going to be a little bit of a hit or miss, but overall, the detail of the pop without being glow in the dark, I think is what makes up for this pop and how it made it to the middle of the list.
Now we are finally at the top half of the list. And coming in at number 5, I have the NFT Phantom Freddy. I think that this is an awesome looking pop, and it's my favorite out of the NFT set of these like Halloween / monster Freddy's. I think it's really cool. Love the Phantom of the Opera. So this is a sweet looking pop, and I'm surprised we haven't seen this years ago because it's just an awesome design for a Funko Freddy.
Coming in at number 5 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Speedy from McDonald's. I think this pop's really cool. It's a little bit of like an obscure character that not a lot of people would think about, and that's always a good thing. You know, it's not a repeat of Ronald McDonald. It's something brand new, and especially it's with a mascot that we didn't think was going to be made into pop form, which brought up a lot of hype as terms to the Funko fanatics.
Coming in at number 4, I have the Assassin's Creed game covers with Altair. This is sweet. I love Assassin's Creed. I think the pop looks pretty decent. It has a lot of cool detail. There's not a whole lot that they have to do for this cover, which is a good thing, and that makes a great pop.
Coming in at number 4 on my list is the Entertainment Earth exclusive Nightcrawler Pop Deluxe. Thing looks great. Like MD mentioned about the whole bass and with the sound effect it would make when Nightcrawler appears from teleporting. Very awesome. The glow in the dark aspects are purple, and I believe the eyes are yellow that glow also. And I think those are two pretty decent colors that give off a pretty nice glow when you take a black light to it. So I think this is great.
Now, moving on to the top 3 pops so far for the month of October. Coming in at number 3, I have the Office 3-pack with Michael, Jim, and Dwight in their Utica outfits. This is sweet. Me and DK have been wanting this pop for a long time. So happy that it's in a 3-pack and not 3 separate pops. It's exclusive to Walmart. Hopefully, our Walmart will get this at some point. Highly doubt it here in Canada. So we'll definitely go other places to probably pick this up, but definitely a need for both mine and DK's collection.
All right, coming in at number 3 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Skeleton Jack and Monster Taco 2-pack from Jack in the Box. This is very unique. You take a holiday and you make some ad icons and you mash them together, especially bringing in a new pop as terms of the Monster Taco is what really brings this pop super high up onto this list. But I think what doesn't make it higher is the kind of simplicity of the Skeleton Jack.
Coming in at number 2, I have the Funko Shop exclusive Speedy from McDonald's. This is awesome. Pretty much completely forgot about this character, and that's crazy because I collect so much McDonald's stuff. So it was really cool to see that we are getting a new wave of McDonald's pops, especially with such an awesome pop like Speedy.
Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Walmart exclusive Boba Fett pop comic covers for Star Wars. Loving the new Star Wars comic covers. I love the whole background and how it's black. You don't get the usual like white background as you normally see with a lot of the pop boxes. It's something very unique and different. I think the Luke Skywalker is a little bit better because of the posing, but they had to really be specific with the cover, and Boba Fett's not really doing anything from what I last remember in the cover.
Coming in at number 1 on my list, the albums of Rush's Exit Stage Left. This is awesome. One of my favorite albums from one of my favorite bands, and such an iconic looking cover. So cool. And I think that Funko nailed it. I think that maybe the head could have been turned a little bit and it would have been a little bit more accurate to the cover itself. But I think that the whole design of the blue dress that the girl is wearing is just perfect. So cool, and really glad to finally see Rush getting their own Funko album covers.
And coming in at number 1 on my list is the Walmart exclusive Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, and Jim Halpert Utica Takeover 3-pack. I mean, there wasn't really an official posting as terms to Funko themselves talking about this, but that might be because they're going to save that for when they finally decide to announce a brand new wave of The Office. But overall, a lot of people on social media have been talking about this. It's something that a lot of people, including myself and MD Shady, have been wanting for such a long time as terms to an Office pop. This is great. The different mustaches. I can't wait to get my hands on this. I did miss out both stocks on walmart.ca to pre-order this, which sucks. Hopefully there's another one, because then I think third time's the charm. I'll be able to pre-order it. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Podcast, don't forget to smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know what was your favorite pops for the month of October 2022. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Podcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and we hope to see you guys next week as we talk about the remaining pops of October 2022. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
With great power comes great responsibility. Peace in, peace out.